with your host, Andrew Romanella.
When you play Battle in Mario Kart and you don't turn off any of the items, there are bananas everywhere. I mean, it's like you're losing your balloons because you're slipping on bananas left and right. Bananas everywhere. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of The Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com. We broadcast live on YouTube and X. I am your host, Andrew Romanella. I got you till about 7:30, 7:32, depending on how we feel today. But we have a lot to talk to you about on this Monday, November 18th, 2024. It is a very UNH Monday here on the Rome Show in the Rome Show studios. I got my new University of New Hampshire Wildcats hockey jersey hoodie on. I got my UNH mug, and I have what my fiance put on the board, which is Go Wildcats. I can explain that to you in a second, but we always tell you, follow us on the social media. The Rome Show 1, that would be The Rome Show, then the number 1, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok. And then if you want to comment live on this show and you want to catch The Rome Show every single day, super easy. Just go to youtube.com/12OZ Sports. That's the number 12 OZ Sports. Hit that subscribe button and you can watch not just The Rome Show. I mean, you got a plethora of fantastic shows lined up on 12ozsports.com. Subscribe and check it out. It's Monday Morning Quarterback, quite possibly our favorite activity in the world as a coach by nature. Monday Morning Quarterback is something that I do on a daily basis. So we'll do that with Sunday, week 11 in the National Football League. The NCAA had a lot going on this weekend from a football standpoint. So we got to get into that because there were some really big losses. If you were wondering, a total of 6 top 25 teams lost over the weekend in college football. 2 of those top 25 teams were in the top 10, which will have huge implications for the playoff. And then, of course, Monday Night Football, Battle of Texas, Houston, and Dallas. So we will have to get into that as well. If I have some time, NBA news for you, of course. Why is it a very UNH Monday before we get into all the football we have? That is because I spent the weekend, at the University of New Hampshire. My fiance is an alumnus of University of New Hampshire. She was a Division I gymnast for the Wildcats. And so we went up over the weekend to visit one of her friends, to see her old coaching staff, to experience the school. And as I like to do and explore universities, I did just that with Juliana at UNH. And I got to tell you, it was gorgeous. We went to a hockey game on Friday night. First off, the environment at the hockey games, electric. I mean, electric times 10. The student section is elite. The arena's right on campus. It's beautiful. The whole experience is awesome. It reminds you, and if you're not a big hockey person, furthermore, you're not a huge Hockey East person or a college hockey person, and we'll talk to Rocky with this tomorrow, Hockey with Rocky 7:10, as it is every single Tuesday, all right? College hockey is awesome. I mean, as much as people might enjoy college basketball or the College World Series in baseball when it gets there, or obviously the college football playoff or the bowl games, is as much fun and enjoyment as I believe people would get out of watching college hockey. The same rules apply, right? Like sometimes when you watch the professionals, you feel like if I watch college all the time, I'm getting 100% of effort 100% of the time because they're college kids, yada, yada. You've heard it before. The best part about hockey is there are no off nights. There is none of that in hockey. From travel hockey to high school hockey to college to professionals to minor, any level of hockey, There is not an off night in that sport. There is not a preseason game. There is not a roll your energy a little bit slower tonight thing in hockey. It is 100% or nothing. And so I'm at this Wildcats hockey game realizing this is awesome. Besides the fact that the university is top notch, what they do, how they operate, their buildings, everything. The college hockey, awesome. So I had a really good time over the weekend. So I thought, you know what? Let me start the show on Monday with my new Wildcats gear and get the people fired up at home. Shout out UNH and shout out the Wildcats. We had a really good time. Now it's time to shout out the good and the bad of Week 11 in the National Football League with something we like to call Monday Morning Quarterback. All right, we got some videos to accompany the highlights for this week. Just a friendly reminder, the Eagles defeated the Commanders for a 1.5 game lead on the NFC East Thursday night. We start with the Miami Dolphins hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. Dolphins 34, Raiders 19. Huge game for Tua, 28 for 36, 288, and 3 TDs. Can I tell you this? What I learned about Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins, and I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it. As Tua goes, as Tua's health goes, is as the Miami Dolphins go. And it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It probably means you found the quarterback that perfectly fits your system, but it's also not great because there's no contingency plan there. There's no opportunity to win any other way outside of Tua. Can we win defensively? Well, we're learning how to win with the run game. At the end of the day, our passing game can't be anything without Tua Tagovailoa. Even our defense plays better when Tua's under center. So good and bad for the Miami Dolphins. That's great, but I don't think he's going to have a 10-year career based on the injury history we know. So we have to start figuring out what's after Tua and how can we win if the lefty is not behind center. A-Chain, 73 yards, a TD here. Brock Bowers, greatest day for a tight end rookie of all time. 13 receptions, 126 yards, and 1 TD. We've already talked about the Dolphins and the Raiders for too long on this Monday. The Finns, though, they are 2.5 games out of a wild card spot at 4-6. So the AFC is nutty. The Packers, they blocked a field goal to beat the Bears. They channeled their inner Chiefs. Here it is. What else? Jahmyr Gibbs had a touchdown, and Jared Goff threw for 412 yards and 4 TDs. The Lions might be the best team in the league. 8 more weeks to find that out. The Vikings, they beat the Titans. Good day for Sam Darnold, 228 and 2 TDs. Not a terrible day for Will Levis, just the Titans aren't that good. Vikings 8-2, Titans 2-8, fighting for that who is the number 1 overall pick spot. The Rams, they went to New England, even though I didn't think they could, and they defeated the Patriots 28-22. 2 quarters of 14 points apiece was the difference maker. Puka Nacua, 123 and a TD, including a diving catch, which was elite. Stafford threw for 4 TDs. That's what the Rams more look like. At the end of the day, not a really consistent ball club right now are the Los Angeles Rams. They are 5-5, still in the fight. And the Patriots, they had a 2-game losing streak. That has now ended. They are 3-8. Drake May looked okay in this game. I don't know if he's your franchise quarterback, but something to, I guess, be excited about the last 7 games of the year. The Saints, they won their 2nd in a row under interim head coach Darren Rizzi. Jameis Winston tried his hardest to win this game for the Browns. The problem is, no matter what Jameis Winston does, he will always find a way to be on a team that is underperforming. So he throws for 395, excuse me, and 2 TDs, and they lose by 21 points. Defense was atrocious for the Browns, one of the best defenses in the league. Good for the Saints. They're 4-7. Might be too late, but you got to love when you see the interim coach thing work. Taysom Hill. If you had Taysom Hill on your fantasy team, you won 138, 3 TDs in this game for the Saints. The Browns fighting for that all-elusive 1st overall pick. Colts. at Jets. Game-winning drive. Anthony Richards. They improve. They do not improve. They're actually worse. Their first half was terrible. And Joe Flacco drove the Colts down and won the game for Indy. He was 20 for 30, 272 yards and a TD. He also ran it 10 times for 32 yards and 2 TDs. That's the type of Anthony Richardson the Colts are looking for if they actually want him to be their franchise quarterback. Jonathan Taylor ran the rock 24 times for 57 yards. So you got to give kudos to the New York Jets defense as a whole, but more specifically their run defense. They essentially challenged Anthony Richardson to beat them, and Anthony Richardson beat them. Aaron Rodgers only threw for 184 yards, but he had 2 TDs. The Jets just can't get this running game going, and I think that's a huge factor as to why this team is not very good. And then non-consistency on the defense. They lack the ability to tackle. There's not a lot of green hats around the football, and coach speak, so I should say. And it just ends up being that you're overly disappointed every single week with this team. So I don't know if this is an institutional thing or if this is just a 2024 thing, but the Jets not living up to what people thought they were going to live up to in 2024. We continue. The Steelers. Yeah, you're going to hear this correctly when I say it out of my mouth. They defeated the Ravens with 6 field goals and a two-point conversion stop at the end of the game. First, Lamar Jackson competing for a 3rd MVP, having that good of a year, goes down, touchdown. I believe that's Flowers with 1 minute and 6 seconds left on the clock. Now here's the 2-point conversion coming up right here that seals the deal for the Steelers. Put the ball in Lamar Jackson's hands. Let him throw it, possibly let him run it. I don't know if that's exactly the play that they wanted, and here's why, okay? Look, one, you have all this movement going to the right side. So it's either they wanted to move it all to the right side and then bring Lamar Jackson back to the left-hand side and have him run it in, which I think is an atrocious decision because he's got to have the option to throw it, right? You only have one shot at this 2-point conversion thing, and you're only going to give him one option to roll away from all of the options? I don't know if that's the best play design. I'm not necessarily a Super Bowl winning coach either. I'm just a Monday morning quarterback. So then he comes this way with the ball in his left hand, then he puts it in his right hand, running the opposite way, and then a random chuck to the end zone. So I don't know what Harbaugh and the Ravens were thinking there, but if that was the play call that they were looking for, I think they need to go back to the drawing board on their 2-point conversions. The Broncos, they crushed the Falcons to the point where Michael Penix Jr. threw 4 passes in this game. For Atlanta, they only ran for 50 yards. It was a dominance performance by Denver. Bo Nix, best day of his career, 307, 4 TDs, only had 5 incompletions on the day. The Broncos also ran for 105 yards. There were 9 different receivers for the Broncos and 6 different receivers that had 10 or more yards. So Bo Nix spreading the ball around, looking like a franchise quarterback in Denver. They move to 6-5 and are in a big-time hunt right now for the AFC wild card spot. We continue. Oh, the Falcons, by the way, they've lost 2 straight. They're also 6-5 in the ever-changing NFC South. The Seahawks, they defeated the 49ers. That's right, Geno Smith ran it in late for the Seahawks for a victory there. They improved to 5-5. The Niners are 5-5, and I think we can all start to feel now that the Niners are not the dominant Niners that they had been in the past. I can't pinpoint why the 49ers are not the same football team, but I can see they're not the same football team. Doesn't take rocket science on a Monday to tell you that one. The Seahawks, though, a much-needed victory for the Hawks. They scored in every quarter of this game, which I thought was super important because their offense has not been playing very well. They only might have scored 2 touchdowns, but definitely a better day overall for the Seahawks. Both teams 5-5 and fighting in that division. All right, the final 2 games we have to talk about were 2 games that essentially had a walk-off touchdown. 2 different forms of it, though. Josh Allen had the football with 2 minutes left in the game, a 2-point lead against the Kansas City Chiefs last week, And he said to me, oh, the game against the Chiefs and the Bills, it doesn't really matter. No, it matters, man, because first off, you want everything to come through Orchard Park in the playoffs. That's the first thing. The second thing is this Chiefs team isn't that good. So if somebody can expose them, who knows what the rest of the season looks like. Usually one knock off the belt there. They're hanging on by a thread, winning all these games. Bam, a good football team comes in, beats them by 9, 30-21. Josh Allen makes that defense look not good. 30 games since the last time the Chiefs have given up 28 or more points. Oh, who did it? Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. So I'm telling you right now, okay, that win was gigantic for the Bills. It might not be in the postseason. It might not be the most important game of the year because it's the regular season. But if in 10 weeks the Bills are hosting the Chiefs at home, I got to tell you, man, what a different feel it's going to be because they are the team that, one, ended their undefeated 9-0, 15-game straight winning streak dating back to last year, whole thing. But two, they are good enough. They could be the best team in the AFC, and I am excited for that game. So Josh Allen getting my vote already for MVP. And then in the Sunday night game, Harbaugh, Herbert, and the boys tried their hardest to lose this football game after having a lead. It was the right one. And that is your Monday morning quarterback, Sunday week 11. So much movement in the National Football League. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on The Rome Show. When we get back, I got a little NCAA football for you. We have picks, Monday Night Football. So much to do in 10 to 12 minutes. We'll do it for you, though. Andrew Romanella, The Rome Show, 12OZ Sports.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Yeah, it's The Rome Show. 12hoursports.com. YouTube Live X. The Rome Show 1. 12OZ Sports. All the social media. I can't just keep hitting that button and it won't just keep going. Thank you for joining us on this Wildcat Monday, November 18th, 2024. Went to visit a new college I've never been to over the weekend and got to experience that. That was super cool. We're all cats. But I say that to tell you this, okay? If you are a huge college football fan, I think what went on with the change from 4 to 12 teams in the college football playoff was exactly what the sport needed. It was not that college football needed a revival, because at the end of the day, it's one of those sports that, like college basketball, you could do whatever you want with it. NIL, transfer portal, one and dones, right? Everything. You could do anything you want. Bowl games, BCS, 2 in, 4 in, 12 in. People are always going to watch college football. They're always going to watch college basketball. but it needed a jolt in a way from the standpoint of the playoff, right? Whether you want to use the word fairness or right, or this is how it should be, or this is what everyone else said, whatever you want to use to justify how many teams you believe should be in the playoff, we all could agree that 2 to 4 teams in a playoff is not okay. No sport in the history of time has ever said, outside of 1974, 1962, 1904, when there weren't 32 teams in a league or 390 colleges performing at the Division I level or whatever it is, right? That right there was a huge change for college football. And as you're looking at the rankings right now, a great one, because you go into the weekend, and in my opening, I told you that 6 top 25 teams lost over the weekend. The biggest being Tennessee, who was facing number 12 Georgia. And the crazy part about it, go back on the podcast, the Rome Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast. We explained this last week or the week before when the first CFP ranking came out. You are not just in the playoff because you are ranked 1 through 12, okay? Each of the Power 4 conference teams gets a person in there, and then that 5th conference, I forget what it is, gets somebody in there. Oh, the group of non-power conference teams, top-ranked person gets that other conference winner spot, and then everything else is like a chosen by the committee type idea. But if you're ranked 8th, but you're not the conference winner of the SEC, right? Like Georgia ranked 12th, so technically top 12, but not in the playoff because there is a conference champion, so be it ranked behind them or in front of them, doesn't matter. That's going to take their automatic spot, and then the way the thing unravels, right? So anyways, my point is a 7-2 Georgia plays an 8-1 Tennessee. In the past, that game wouldn't have mattered for anything outside of trying to get to a top 4 bowl game. Now you're still alive, man. Like, you can lose a game in college football. You can lose 2 like Georgia because their strength of schedule is so good and still be alive. And that, to me, makes the sport that much better. Think about Penn State right now. How many times have we watched Penn State lose a football game to a top 25 team and then go, oh, their season's over, right? They have no chance to come back from that. Whereas this year, they lost to a top 25 football team in Ohio State, top 5 team in Ohio State, and they are still number 4 in the country, and they still have a chance to make it to the college football playoff. Losing one game over your 12-game regular season and not having a chance to win a championship is unrealistic. And I personally don't think it's that much fun. So kudos to college football. And you saw it this weekend. There's a lot of pressures there. You know, you're the 6th team in the country and you're in. You're the 16th team in the country. You're on the precipice. You're the 25th team in the country. You're on you're 2 weekends of 5 upsets away from being in the top 12. Like, there's so many people that have a chance now. Really, really good move by college football. I am enjoying it. Okay. And I pulled up some odds. Here are your top 4 team odds to win the college football national championship. Right now, the best odds are number 2, Ohio State, at plus 300. The second best odds are number 1, Oregon, at plus 450. And then the third and the fourth best odds are a tie between University of Georgia and Texas at plus 500. Okay, so those are your Las Vegas betting odds favorites to win the college football national championship. Now, that was last night, right? Tomorrow, they come up with their next ranking for the official college football playoff ranking. Does that change Vegas's mind? We'll find out. And after we get it Tuesday night, we'll break it down on the Rome Show Wednesday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, some interesting news in the NBA before we go to Monday Night Football. Just want to let people know, if you were following the Inside the NBA story, where TNT is losing the rights for the first time since 1988 to broadcast National Basketball Association games, okay? ESPN and Amazon has taken over that contract. And so part of that was what's going to happen with Shaq, with Ernie, with Kenny, and with Charles, right? Inside the NBA is like people's favorite NBA show. Well, turns out ESPN, as big as ESPN is and does what they can do, they essentially buy the rights to Inside the NBA, and TNT is going to produce Inside the NBA from the studio. When Inside the NBA goes on the road, ESPN will produce it. It will be airing on ESPN and Amazon. ESPN and Amazon will control all the games, and then TNT and Warner Bros. Essentially continues rights to hosting the show or producing the show, and then they can produce basketball games in like different countries. It's wild, but for the first time in 37 years, TNT will not be broadcasting the National Basketball Association. That is wild to think. And I'm hoping, and I actually was, I don't know if you like me for this one or you don't like me for this one, but I don't care because it makes me happy. Was decorating our Christmas tree yesterday. And somebody got me an ornament from the day the year the Rome show started, which was 2019. And it was wild. I'm like, wow. We are completing the 5th year of the Rome show. Once we turn the calendar into 2025, it'll be our 6th year of existence with this show. And it's pretty cool. It's kind of cool to like look back and be like, man, look what you've accomplished. But I can't imagine 37 years. And I also can't imagine that run coming to an end. Cause like, I mean, I'm going to be on 12 Ounce Sports till I'm in the grave. Like it's my grave's going to have 12 OZ Sports on it. Right. So like, I don't know what it would feel like to break that contract, but then again, we will be the next best streaming service. So maybe in that same time, we'll be broadcasting basketball games. You never know. You never know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put the fun sports music on for the Monday Night Football stuff because it's also going to be our banana pick. Okay. So we get ourselves ready here and we roll. Andrew went 2-2 over the weekend. All right, so I've lost a little bit of my controlling the record here thing. We were 142 and 114. And then on Friday, we had a really good day, so we were 145 and 114. Then over the weekend, we went 2-2, so now we're 147 and 116 for the 2024 Pick'em season. Tonight, we have the Cowboys. They're hosting the Texans. The Cowboys have been down by 20-plus points in each of their last 5 home games, and they are not starting a very good quarterback. So let's start with this. The Texans are favored by 7 points in this game. I'm going to start by taking that, okay? I just don't think that Dallas has the offense with Cooper Rush at the helm or Trey Lance to do anything. Now, is the Texans defense very good? No. Do I think the Cowboys can score between 13 and 17 or 20 in this game? Yes. But the Texans get Nico Collins back, and they've already established Tank Dell as a legitimate number 1B. So without Stephon Diggs there, I almost see that as a benefit for the Titans. I don't got to find 3 to 4 people to get the rock to. Let's work on Nico. Let's work on Tank. And then we'll go from there against a shoddy defense to begin with. So I'm going to take the Texans at the -7. I'm going to take a Nico Collins touchdown. And I'm going to take CJ Stroud over 200 passing yards. Why only going over 200? Because I don't believe they're going to need much more than that from him. So if you want to take Mixon over his yards, you could do that as well. My predictor in this game is 28-17. The Houston Texans win, and hopefully we put some more of these on your bushel. Oh. I messed it up. All right, we're not going banana sound today. We're keeping it simple here on the Rome Show. A Monday, 12 OZ Sports, X, YouTube. You know the deal. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the show today. I appreciate you. We're back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., 7:10, Hockey with Rocky. Follow us on all the social medias. Remember, have an electric day today. Live that electric lifestyle at RomeShowShop.com. And until tomorrow, Andrew Romanella saying...
Thank you for listening.